believe you can fit the Statue of Liberty inside it.
Maybe it's the lengths they go to keep the guests happy.
If somebody says, you know, I want Japanese strawberries, we get Japanese strawberries.
Or perhaps the extremes they reach to keep it looking brand new.
It's very exciting to work on it, but extremely difficult to clean it.
With unprecedented access, we go behind the scenes to reveal how you provide 7-star service 24/7 and how you transform the hotel into a spectacular light show. Sit back and relax as we reveal the secrets behind the world's most luxurious hotel. Once upon a time, there was a small, peaceful seafaring nation in the Middle East called Dubai. Then they found oil here, and the transformation began. Today, downtown Dubai has more than a hint of Miami, partly thanks to the $1 billion of black gold they export every year. But it's not all work and no play. The oil wells are due to dry up in 30 years, so Dubai has invested heavily in the business of pleasure. 3 million visitors come here each year, many attracted by events like the Dubai Desert Classic, one of the richest golf tournaments in the world. Or the Dubai World Cup, the world's richest horse race. Prize money here, just $15 million. You won't be having a flutter. In Islamic Dubai, betting is illegal. But if you are first past the post, you'll want the best money can buy, starting with a night here at Burj Al Arab. Just 200 feet shorter than the Empire State Building, Burj Al Arab is the tallest hotel in the world. It's so exclusive that non-residents pay $27 simply to cross the bridge. The hotel has acquired the reputation of being the world's first 7-star stopover.
There's no actual thing as a 7-star hotel because hotel ratings go to 5-star, but there are hotels that are beyond 5-star. So the 7-star terminology has just grown up around Burj Al Arab because it's an exceptional hotel. It's not only the suites, it's not only the restaurants, it's not only the spa, it's the service as much as anything else, but it's the way it's all wrapped up in one package, and you have a 7-star product from the minute you step inside there.
The first impression you get of the hotel might seem low-key. A traditional Arabic welcome of cold towels, dates, and coffee. But then visitors leave low-key way behind.
Well, my first thoughts were who designed it and how they built it, to be honest with you.
It looks like inside-out pineapple.
It is something to be experienced.
It does take a while to sink in on it. It is so immense. But once you're in, 20 minutes later, I could stay here for life.
The impact the interior makes is all down to one designer, British-based Quan Chu. We tracked her down.
I wanted people, when they come in, to immediately get this wow effect. And when they leave, I want them to feel they want to come back again and again and again.
The final design matches Quan Chu's original vision.
As you can see, here is an artistic impression of the entry level of the hotel, where you have the nautical theme depicted in the shells of the concierge desk, as you can see, and the sofas look exactly as we've designed it. It's really quite awesome. It's an exact copy, if you like, a real depiction of what we initially dreamt up in our minds.
It's the same throughout the hotel. Although the interior might seem complex, we discovered that it works because it's based on the oldest and simplest of theories.
The design philosophy of the interior is based on the 4 elements, which is water, fire, earth, and wind, because we're really in a desert region where the weather, the climatic conditions, and the terrain is quite harsh. And this becomes like an oasis to the people of this region.
Here's the water. Earth is represented in the precious stones used throughout. And here's something most people don't realize. The marble in the bathrooms is the same stuff Michelangelo used for his famous statues. Air relates to the mist dripping down the water cascade in the foyer. And here's the fire. It's an award-winning combination. But if the interiors are based on the elemental, don't be fooled into thinking science has no part to play here. Once you get into the suite-only bedrooms, which are among the largest in the world, technology comes to the fore.
The brief to us was to create a space that was state-of-the-art. And for instance, behind me, you'll see a 42-inch plasma. It's operated by a remote, which operates a DVD and a CD player and all those sorts of things. But also the remote operates the curtains. It's a dream come true for most people who prefer just to come here and be couch potatoes, really.
And one night here will set you back $800. There is another secret to the opulence. All that glitters at Burj Al Arab is most certainly gold. In this case, 22-karat gold leaf, used on walls, pillars, and domes throughout the hotel.
In the whole hotel, there's approximately 2,000 square meters of gold leaf. Approximately 25% of that is located within this ballroom. And to give you some idea, that would be about a basketball pitch full of gold leaf.
Experts took just 8 weeks to complete the dome in the ballroom. They carefully glued into place each sheet of gold leaf and then brushed away the excess. If you think there's a lot of gold leaf on the ceilings and walls, just imagine how much was lost in the process. And the final cost of the hotel? Well, that is a real secret. Some say they're still doing the math. But there is another secret to 7-star luxury, and that's the personnel. There are 5 members of staff to every suite here, and with 202 suites, that's over 1,000 members of personnel, catering to your every need. Burj Al Arab even provides guests with their very own personal butler, who is on call 24/7. They'll run your bath, open the champagne, even unpack your suitcase. The hotel employs 65 butlers in total, and we were allowed behind the scenes at their daily briefing.
Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you in the morning.
Good morning, sir.
One of the most important aspects of a butler's job is presentation. Every morning, uniforms are rigorously inspected.
Hair's just right, and the shoes are well polished. This is something what you need to focus on while you're working with us.
Butlers have to do their homework to ensure they're genned up on every guest.
Okay, let's run through today's arrivals. We have Mr. Jones coming in. Do you remember Mr. Jones?
Mr. John Atkins, yes, I do. The last time he'd come, he was very used to having the Cohiba cigar.
Right, I have it right here, so if you want to pick that up while you're going up, so please place that prior to the arrival in a suite.
Perfect, I'll do that. And he was also requesting for a US today.
I have organized that as well through the concierge, so you would receive it on your respective floor.
Perfect.
And we can reveal the rules by which these guys operate.
First one is greet the guest before the guest greets you. The second one is never say no to the guest. And the third one is treat your colleagues with respect.
I wish you all a good day and a good shift.
Thank you very much.
Check-in time at Burj Al Arab. And 7-star status means no standing in line. In fact, no check-in desk at all. Instead, each floor has its own concierge. You check in the comfort of your own suite.
The reason why we decided to have personalized check-in on the floor is to simplify the guest experience. How many times when you stay in a hotel, you want to book something, book a restaurant or book a flight, and you have to go down to the reception desk. Here, you can just exit your suite and you have the service on the floor.
If you want to book a car, well, it's probably going to be one of these, Rolls-Royce Silver Serifs, specially imported by the hotel from the UK. It's all part of the service. High flyers, on the other hand, will probably have more than a passing acquaintance with the hotel's helipad. From here, it's only 3 floors to the 2 royal suites. Our cameras were allowed in to find out why these suites are fit for a king.
Well, first and foremost, you're on the 25th floor. You're in probably the highest suite, I'd like to think, in the world. It's a series of many rooms on 2 floors. The entrance lobby with a very, very grand staircase. You have your own private study. And of course there's the dining room, which is the sunburst room, where you have a round coffer with a painted sky scene. This is the closest you'll ever get to a modern Arabian palace.
Over 8,000 square feet includes your own private cinema with a 52-inch flat-screen TV and, incredibly, a revolving bed. And the cost? Well, one night in the Royal Suite will set you back $9,000, and that's not including breakfast. But if that's a bit beyond your wallet, there's no way you're going to feel shortchanged. At this hotel, everyone is treated as a VIP. You can dine with the fishes at the Almahara restaurant. Travel in one of the fastest elevators in the world at a heart-stopping 20 feet per second. Drink at the Skyview Bar, seemingly suspended mid-air 620 feet above the Arabian Gulf. It's all here. Next, we take the hotel apart, piece by piece, to reveal how you create an iconic superstructure from scratch. Burj Al Arab, meaning the Arabian Tower, is known as the world's most luxurious hotel. It sits over 900 feet offshore on its own man-made island and stands over 1,000 feet high, making it the tallest hotel in the world. It's part of Jumeirah International, the largest luxury hospitality group in Dubai.
Well, Jumeirah International started life first as the Jumeirah Beach Hotel, which is our wave-shaped hotel with 619 rooms across from the Burj Al Arab Island. This opened in late November 1997, and that was followed with the next part of the resort, which is Wild Wadi Water Park, followed by the Burj Al Arab in November of 1999 to complete the Jumeirah Beach Resort.
Burj Al Arab is the company's flagship. Commissioned in 1993, it took 5 years to build, and we can reveal how it all began.
The brief from the client was to create a building that would become an icon for Dubai, rather like Sydney has its Opera House and Egypt the pyramids.
Here's the secret to creating an iconic structure.
There was a litmus test we invented applied to them, and that is if you could draw the building quickly in 5 seconds, Pictionary style, and it was recognized by almost everybody, it would then have achieved this sort of iconic status.
The test worked, and Burj Al Arab is now a symbol for Dubai. It even appears on all the car registration plates. We discovered the original designs were even more adventurous than the end result. They included cable cars and an underwater tunnel as ways of reaching the hotel on its island. But high winds and the shallow sea made these innovative ideas unrealistic. They were eventually replaced by the curved causeway. And here's a little-known fact. Burj Al Arab wasn't intended to be the tallest hotel in the world.
The architect that did the drawings didn't like the fact that the building was 320 meters high. He preferred 321 as a figure. And so we built it 321 meters high, and then discovered that the tallest building up till then was in China at 320 meters.
It might have been a world record waiting to happen, but its construction wasn't all plain sailing. The first challenge was to build an island in the sea for it to stand on.
We built the building out to sea because we thought it enhanced the iconic nature of the building, the fact that it looks like a large sail, a ship. It seemed logical to put it out to sea.
These early sketches reveal there was another reason for the man-made island. Building the hotel on land would have meant shading the beach and sun-worshipping holidaymakers throughout the day. Burj Al Arab is the only hotel in the world to stand on its own man-made island. The secret to keeping the island and hotel from sinking lies 100 feet below sea level. Huge rocks were poured into the sea to create the island. 230 steel and concrete rods were then drilled through the island and 140 feet into the sea floor to support the hotel. The underwater construction took over a year, and we can reveal how they ensured that all their hard work would never erode.
One of the secrets of preserving the structure of the island at Burj Al Arab is the layer of special armouring that you see on the island behind me. When waves impact the island, instead of riding up and over the top of the island, they're absorbed just like a sponge.
By absorbing the waves, this simple honeycomb structure greatly reduces any risk of erosion to the island. They really are the first line of defense against the elements. Next, it was time to build the hotel itself. For the tallest hotel, they needed the largest cranes in the world, brought over special delivery from Australia. During construction, over 3,000 workers were on site. 70 stories above the sea, they riveted, hammered, and bolted the skeleton frame of Burj Al Arab into place. A total of 9,000 tons of steel were used in the framework to brace the massive structure against powerful winds and sandstorms. One of the unique designs of the hotel added an extra challenge: a restaurant and bar floating 620 feet above the sea that seems to defy gravity. The architect let us in on the secret to its design.
The floor is actually made up of a series of beams that cantilever from the core, and they are radial from the core, rather like a spider's web, with a floor plate that is welded to them to stiffen them.
The main aim was to provide unspoiled panoramic views of the Arabian Gulf, and they let us into the secret of how they achieved this.
If you could imagine that outside of this building, under the design wind conditions, you have the equivalent of a Mercedes-Benz pressing against the glass. By means of providing these thick stiffeners, we've been able to avoid the need for structural elements which would obscure the view.
Central to the hotel's design is the atrium. It takes up a third of the interior space, and at 597 feet high, you could fit the Statue of Liberty inside. Look carefully, and you'll see that one entire wall of the atrium is made of fabric, an engineering first. At 96,000 square feet, this is the largest fabric wall in the world.
We decided on the fabric wall because it gave us a sense of the nautical. It has an image of a billowing sail on a modern racing yacht. But it also has a very practical function to cut down the heat and to provide a pleasant light within the atrium.
The double-coated Teflon glass fiber screen had to be installed in sections to prevent the panels from being blown away in high winds. What most people don't realize is that the wall is actually made up of 2 layers of fabric skin with an air gap of nearly 20 inches between them for insulation, or rather refrigeration. Temperatures in Dubai can reach 100 degrees. That 20 inches helps to keep the hotel guests cool on the inside. A floor-to-ceiling atrium in the world's tallest hotel means, well, that this is the tallest atrium in the world, and presented another challenge for the designers. In a word, vertigo.
This is a very large space. We're talking about 180 meters high. As a result, we looked very carefully at the way we designed the balconies to make sure that there were never any vertical views straight down the atrium. We always have an oblique view. We always have something to look at that is another floor or some other color or plane that breaks up the view so that you never have this verticality.
It was a tall order, but they did it. Burj Al Arab opened in December 1999. Since then, everyone from former U.S. President Bill Clinton to singer Lionel Richie have landed on this luxury island. Coming up next, how the world's most luxurious hotel transforms itself by night into a magical light show. A wind-filled sail by day, Burj Al Arab is transformed by night into the backdrop for a unique fire, water, and light spectacular. As guests approach the hotel, they're greeted by a thunderous display of fireballs and water screeching 15 feet into the night sky. Lit by 142 iridium floodlights that change color every 3 seconds, the hotel can be seen from miles around. The central fountain is called the volcano. Water pours down its sides like lava, and choreographed jets shoot out from its crater. There's fire, and there's water. It shouldn't be possible, but it is. And here's the secret to its design. The water jets are aerated, which means they are a mixture of water and oxygen. That oxygen is just enough to keep the propane gas burning. We discovered that this amazing feature didn't appear in the original plans for the hotel.
When we were working on the final designs for the Burj Al Arab, it became obvious that the original idea we had for a roundabout with some palm trees was really not dramatic enough for the very significant statement architecturally that the Burj Al Arab represents.
In their search for the dramatic, the designers looked west to Wet Design, a Californian-based company responsible for the world-famous water features at the Bellagio and Mirage hotels in Las Vegas. But they went one step further in Dubai. The mixing of fire and water within this fountain is a world first. It took 12 months to design and 2 months to construct, with some slightly unorthodox techniques used to test out the concept along the way.
What really startles people is, and we proved this during our experimentation, that this mix of fire and water is such that you can thrust your arm right into the water and thus right into the fire, but the water, of course, is keeping it cool. We don't recommend this to the guests that visit the Burj, but we've done it ourselves here.
But the show doesn't end at the front entrance. A pyramid of water and light greets each visitor as they enter the lobby. The secret to the success of this design lies in perfect timing.
There are 42 arcing laminar jets of water in the cascade. These are almost laser-like rods of water from which all the turbulence has been removed. In fact, the flow of the water is so precise that they behave just like a fiber optic that's used in communication. Light will pass and stay confined within that fiber of water. So we put a light into the base of each of those streams, and it follows right the way across the arc, just glowing and adding color and illumination along the path.
As you climb up the escalator to the top of the pyramid, there's a final aqua surprise, the hypershooter. Every 30 minutes, a single jet of water shoots 12 stories into the air. That's nearly 100 feet high. But however close you get, you'll stay bone dry. It's another first for Wet Design, and the idea took everybody by surprise.
I think the architects looked at us like, you guys are a little bit crazy. You mean to not splash on our guests? And of course we said, no, we wouldn't do it if we splashed. We actually rented a blimp hangar, a leftover relic from the Second World War here in California, where it was the only place we could get that incredible height inside without the wind. And we tested and refined and modified that nozzle and that valving system that would eject that column of water. So you have this wonderful combination of the most precise expression of water on the planet and pure, raw, liquid energy.
The aquatic theme of the hotel doesn't end here. The spa is designed so guests can swim to the edge of the hotel and look out over the ocean. The concierge desks are designed in the shape of shells. But the pièce de résistance has to be the Al Mahara restaurant. It means under the sea. And here's how the restaurant lives up to its name.
Good evening. Welcome to the Submarine. I'm Jackie, your captain this evening. I'm going to take you down 50 meters into the water and into the Al Mahara seafood restaurant. Please fasten your seatbelts. Sea's a bit rough today.
A 2-minute submarine ride takes you from the lobby to the restaurant entrance. Guess what? It's actually a high-tech simulator which takes guests to the restaurant at the bottom of the ocean. The illusion continues as guests disembark. They're dining under the sea after all. The secret? 3 huge aquariums holding over 40 species of fish, which get as close to the diners as their napkins. Our cameras were allowed behind the scenes to see just how the illusion is created. Above the restaurant, a team of marine biologists maintain the ecosystem for over 5,000 fish. The star attraction is Wally, the hump-headed wrasse from Australia's Great Barrier Reef. Weighing in at 55 pounds, we can reveal that getting him here was quite a challenge.
He was one of the hardest to bring into the aquarium, mainly because of his size and because of the distance traveled. They tend to live at depth, and therefore when they're caught, they have to be brought up slowly and gradually so there's no damage from pressure changes. And unlike the majority of fish here that we can transport in bags in oxygen, with a fish like Wally, he had to come with his own life support system. He was 30 hours in the air, and he arrived with a VIP escort through the airport.
The aquarium is also home to 2 sharks. This nurse shark is nicknamed Florence, after Florence Nightingale. They live in this 61,000-gallon aquarium packed with coral. But this is another feature that isn't quite what it seems.
The secret of the coral is that, in fact, it's not coral at all. It's an artificial moulding. The reason we've done such a heavy density of coral is to provide refuge for the smaller fish, so that when they're feeling like a bit of peace and quiet, and when they don't want to be on display or they don't want to be in the company of larger fish, they can find a nook and cranny.
Before the restaurant opens, the fish have a slap-up meal of their own. Their food is prepared in their very own kitchen. We discovered that the fish eat nearly as well as the guests.
You may look at the shopping list and see that it's quite similar to what some of the guests may eat. You get a broad variety of fish, vegetables and other different food types. So for example, fish-wise you have prawns, mussels, squid, mackerel, and sometimes we often give Wally a lobster tail because he's a special fish. We like to look after him quite well.
Then it's time for the marine biologists to play waiter and chambermaid.
Everyone is a diver, and we all go in to make sure that the algae is cleaned off of the corals, to make sure that certain fish are fed. For example, the moray eels live towards the bottom of the tank. So we go in there and we pinpoint feed them to make sure that they get fed every week.
The final job is to clean the tank, and then it's time to feed the guests. On the menu? Yes, fish. They prepare 2,000 meals a day here, and our cameras went back of house to the kitchens. Head chef John Woods let us in on the secret to providing a 7-star culinary treat.
If a guest wants something, we will search, wherever it may be, not only obviously in Dubai and UAE, but also throughout the whole world. If somebody says, I want Japanese strawberries, we get Japanese strawberries, we fly them in from Japan.
Fresh produce from around the world arrives every day.
At this particular moment, we're buying in Californian grapefruits, which are the best grapefruit you can get. It's got the best, sweetest flavour in it. We get our salmon from Scotland. The wild mushrooms at the moment are superb from France.
The guests who stay at Burj Al Arab expect the best, and the hotel goes to extraordinary lengths to ensure that their expensive tastes are met.
I mean, we use a tremendous amount of gold leaf here. And it is real gold at the end of the day, and we do use a lot, with our chocolate and pastry work mostly, and we roll certain ingredients through it. We use it on certain soups, truffle soups as well. We sort of lace the top of the soup with gold leaf. It suits the Burj Al Arab as well, and it is a luxury ingredient.
Here, guests eat over 1,000 sheets of gold each year. Presentation is one of the secrets to making the restaurants at Burj Al Arab unique. Behind the scenes, the chefs sculpt fantastic creations. This ice carving of the hotel itself stands 4 feet tall and takes an hour to create from a frozen block of ice. This coral display is entirely made of sugar, but looks so real it could even fool the fish. Dubai is an Islamic nation, so alcohol can only be served at restaurants or bars attached to a hotel. The wine list at Burj Al Arab contains 250 different bottles, and it was Sean Corrigan's job to choose every one of them. We tracked him down at a cognac tasting session.
So we're starting with the 1906 Roman Ranier Heritage from the Grand Champagne region. A little bit darker in colour, ever so slightly darker in colour. Much softer on the nose.
We can reveal the hotel's most expensive tipple.
One of our rare cognacs is this 1804 Imperial half-gallon of Massouge cognac. It's very, very rare. There's only 6 left of these in the world, and it's our most expensive cognac at Burj Al Arab, which will be $500 a glass.
A couple of glasses of this, and it'll be the bill rather than the alcohol that'll make the room spin. Next, it's time to cool off at Wild Wadi, one of the world's most technically advanced water parks. This is Bab Al Yam. It means the sea's door. It's the guest-only pool at Burj Al Arab. Here the temperatures can get so hot that engineers had to design a pool that actually keeps the water cool. But if you fancy a more vigorous plunge, well, that's on offer too. Wild Wadi is one of the world's most technically advanced water parks, right on the hotel's doorstep. It's a 12-acre aqua paradise with 24 rides offering non-stop thrills and spills.
You've got the wonderful weather.
We're not used to this East Canada.
You've got beautiful warm water.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's fast, it's exciting.
It's the best water park I've been to.
I love it.
The architects broke new ground when they built the water park. First, they needed to come up with a theme that suited Dubai's desert landscape. The solution was a wadi. It's Arabic for the dry riverbeds that can be found in the surrounding deserts.
One of our influences for this design was the natural landscape of the Gulf region. So we spent lots of time looking at the wadis and the riverbeds that exist out in nature here. And when you walk through the Wild Wadi, you'll see a lot of references to those natural landscapes.
To recreate the look, over 2,500 feet of African teak was weathered to resemble driftwood. Fishermen were employed from India to bind mile upon mile of rope into nets. The designers even took rubber molds of rocks to make sure the end result was as realistic as possible. The next step was to flood the artificial dry riverbed to create a water-filled oasis. To supply the thousands of gallons of water needed, massive desalination tanks had to be built to transform seawater from the Persian Gulf into fresh water. That fresh water is also recycled to prevent waste.
We have something like an equivalent of 120,000 bathtubs full of water flowing around this project at any one time. About 10 to 15% of that we lose in evaporation into the atmosphere. So the rest of it is totally recycled, retreated, and used again and again and again.
3 years in the making, Wild Wadi opened in August 1999 and now attracts over 500,000 thrill seekers a year. The top attraction is the Master Blaster, a groundbreaking design that connects 8 water coasters to create the longest water ride in the world. Climb on board at one end of the park, and for 2 miles you can ride up and down a series of hair-raising twists and turns without leaving the water. The Master Blaster seems to defy gravity, propelling its passengers 10 stories up into the air, and we can reveal how it works.
The Master Blaster is really an uphill water roller coaster, and it's able to carry people uphill from a series of jets. It's very similar to if you had a water hose, and if you held it normal, water would flow out. If you put your thumb over it, the water increases. Same with the Master Blaster. We had jets placed throughout the slide. When people travel over the jets, it shoots people uphill on the water slide. We have 8 Master Blasters in the park. They are all interconnected, and it really makes for an enjoyable day for guests simply because they never have to get out of their inner tube.
Towering above the park is the tallest and largest free-fall slide outside of North America.
We are now at Jumeirah Skerra, which is 32 meters above the rest of the park. It's 120 meters long, and on the last downhill you're traveling at speeds of about 80 kilometers an hour, and you experience a sense of weightlessness traveling over that last downhill.
This ride is not for the faint-hearted. It starts with a climb to the top of the water park. 67 steps allow time for the nerves to set in for holidaymaker Dean.
I've never been on it before, and I'm actually kind of nervous. I have butterflies in my stomach looking down.
At the top of the slide, over 100 feet above the ground, there's only one way down. As you plummet down the slide, you experience a feeling of weightlessness. And in 8 seconds, it's all over.
Incredible. Don't throw me in the mud and roll me over. That was quite a ride.
And what goes through your mind when you're free-falling at 50 miles an hour?
I was thinking, I hope I live to see the end of this. It was pretty scary coming down, but when I was stopped, I was pretty happy, and it's pretty quick. It really is a lot faster than what you would think it is.
If you're after excitement closer to the ground, the Flow Rider offers some of the best surfing waves in Dubai. We asked the experts how the Wadi wave rates to the real thing.
I'd say the Flow Rider itself,
It's a lot more powerful than normal surf at sea. It's a whole new momentum altogether, and I find this a lot harder than what I did at there.
We can reveal just how the Flow Rider creates the perfect wave all year round.
It is a 3-inch sheet of water that comes across a foam surface, and we have 1,500 liters of water coming across the ride per second. So there's a lot of water and there's a lot of force coming across the ride. It's really a perfect wave day in and day out. If you've ever seen surfers, they like to be right in the heart of the wave, and it's the same thing on our wave, where people are riding in here, testing their skills, riding up and down the wave. They can move in and out, and unlike any of the other rides, it's a sport. You can get better at it. With all the other water slides, you ride it once, you ride it twice, you ride it 100 times, you really get the same experience. But on this attraction, we have guests that come in, day out, and they try new things.
And back on dry land, the drama continues. Thunderstorms are so rare in Dubai that at Wild Wadi they've had to create their own. Every hour a tropical storm and flash flood, known as the Wadi Wash, drenches the park. It's all done from in here. We were allowed in.
This is probably the part that not many people see when visiting a water park. This is what I would call the control center or the command center. We're going to be starting the Wadi Wash. It's all computerized, so it'll start by itself, but what we have to do now is we move the fossil rock using this joystick over here, and there's approximately 90,000 liters of water which are lifted hydraulically, and they come out the top of the Wadi Wash, creating a spectacular waterfall.
Hidden nozzles create the thunderstorm, and the soundtrack provides the rest. In the middle of the desert, the Wild Wadi is a tropical oasis. Stay with us as we reach the dizzy heights with the men who make sure the hotel always looks its best. It's one thing to actually build a 7-star hotel, but then the team faced an enormous challenge. How to keep it looking as good as new.
One of the most challenging parts of the design, surprisingly, was enabling the whole building to be clean. As being such an unusual shape, there are many different and wonderful cleaning machines that we employed to get to all the parts of the facade.
To keep Burj Al Arab looking pristine and protect it from the sea air and blowing sands, the hotel needs constant maintenance. It's a tall order. Cradle scale the structure, cleaning nearly 500,000 feet of glass. But the secret to cleaning those hard-to-reach parts are these guys. The abseiling window cleaners. Barely visible from the ground, they're part of the cleaning team guests never see. The abseilers only work in the early hours of the morning to avoid the scorching sun. We got our cameras up close to catch these daredevil cleaners in action. At 1,052 feet tall, the hotel takes an amazing 2 months to clean from top to bottom.
We have 6 people working on the inside and 4 people on the outside. They work here continuously throughout the year. They get to the bottom of the hotel and they basically go straight back up on top and start again.
The abseilers hang from the very edge of the hotel over 1,000 feet above the Arabian Gulf. The views from this height are awesome.
I think when you're abseiling from the tallest hotel in the world, head for heights is something you're definitely going to need. A lot of our guys are from Nepal and they were kind of born in the mountains pretty much, so they've no fear of heights, no fear.
Just as well. From the 27th floor, they dangle below the Al Muntaha restaurant. A tricky overhang makes this one of the most difficult areas to clean. We track down the abseiler's most unusual colleague, Moko the falcon. These birds of prey were traditionally used for hunting by the Bedouin people or desert dwellers. They were so good at it they could keep a family supplied with food. Now the falcons are used for something very different. Every other morning, Moko arrives at the hotel with her handler, David Steed. Their mission? To prevent pigeons from using the hotel for target practice and adding to the abseiler's workload. Regular patrols by Moko and her colleagues help keep the hotel a pigeon-free zone.
But the very act of having a falcon in the sky, there's something that clicks in the pigeon's brain. They think, this is not a good place to be, and woof, they'll disappear.
While her colleagues stand by, Moko shows them how it's done.
She's just going to rouse. Big shake of the feathers. Yeah, that's a good girl. I'm going to give her a tiny mouthful of food. And this is an hors d'oeuvre, effectively, wake her system up.
After the pre-flight checks are complete, she's away. Flying early in the morning to avoid the heat of the day, the majestic flight of the falcons are something the guests never see. It's tiring work, as the falcons check every nook and cranny of the hotel. And for David, there's always the worry that the roving falcon could just fly away.
Having to work for a living is a four-letter word, and they don't appreciate it. So we make life easy for them, effectively, and they'll stay with us. But on occasion, they'll catch a thermal and woof, they're gone. And then the falconer looks very lonely. It's awfully embarrassing.
The secret to making sure the falcons turn up for work the next day is simple.
They're looking for a meal ticket, and I'm it. And as long as I can convince them that I'm it, then they'll keep coming back to me.
Today, tempted by a diet of quail, the falcons return. And as no pigeons have been spotted, this is another successful day at the office. Cleaning the hotel is a 24-hour business. Below ground, a team of 22 chauffeurs maintain the largest fleet of silver seraphs in the world. Above ground, a massive cleaning staff of 230 look after the rooms. The hotel has 202 suites and can accommodate 664 guests. That means a lot of beds and a lot of linen. It's all washed on their doorstep in the largest laundry in the Middle East. Here they process 25 tons of laundry every day. That's 6,000 bed sheets and over 2,000 shirts, not to mention over 25,000 towels. That's a lot of pressing, but here it's all done automatically. Front of house, guests can freshen up at the hotel's Aswan Spa, which is also open 24 hours a day. We discovered the design was inspired by the magnificent ruins of Petra in Jordan. The range of treatments available here are sourced from all over the world. Some are more unusual than others. This is aroma stone therapy.
It's based on the energy of the healing power of the stones, coming from the riverbeds of Bali, with the flow of water over the stones, which actually release their energy once we work the stones into the muscles.
There are 1,200 staff here, working 24 hours to maintain the hotel's 7-star status. Over 150,000 people have stayed here since the hotel opened. They've included kings, princesses, presidents, and politicians, holidaymakers, and visitors from all over the world. They've lapped up the luxury Burj Al Arab has to offer. And with prices starting at $800 a night for a suite, it's out-of-this-world luxury, but not out-of-this-world tariffs. Which all helps to explain why Burj Al Arab now ranks among the world's most luxurious destinations.
The three things in life one should do if one can afford it, and that is to travel by Concorde, to be on the QE2, and to stay at the Burj Al Arab.